Welcome back to the channel. This video we are looking at the Week 5 NFL Sunday Draftkings and FanDuel main slate picks. We got a few teams on buys this week. We also have a London game, so main slate is a little bit shorter than usual. We have 10 games on Draftkings, 11 on FanDuel. Let's go ahead and get into it. As always, enjoy the videos. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Last week the picks did really well. All the position players had touchdowns except for Saquon. Receivers did really well. 3K Paris Campbell got into the end zone, and then Nico Collins had a monster game, and Deontay Johnson had a good game as well, and even dropped a touchdown on the first drive. But we're going on to this week. Got some picks. If you want to join us, you can check out the website, dfsprocess.net. Link is in the description. Starting off at the quarterback position, we have a couple of games with semi-high totals. You have the Bills-Texans game. That should be a good one at the 1 o'clock slate. That game has a 47.5 total right now. And then later on, we got a few more 4 p.m. games that look really enticing. Packers heading into Los Angeles take on the Rams. That one's 48.5. You got both sides are banged up in this one. Rams missing still their top 2 receivers, and the Packers are going to be missing likely their 2 of their top 3 receivers with Watson out, and then it looks like Dobbs is going to miss as well. So Jordan Love is back. He looked really good last week. Had to throw a ton, but you got to like him to match up against the Rams defense that hasn't been anything special. So those are 2 really good games to target. Then you have the Cardinals 49ers, should be a high-scoring affair as well. Those are the 3 main games that I'm looking at, besides the Ravens and Bengals, another one that has a high total. So you got like 4 games out of the 10 have over 47-point totals right now. Those might be the ones that you want to focus on. Starting at the quarterback position, top end, you have a couple over 7,000. Out of those 3, I would probably take either Allen or Lamar. I'm going a little bit cheaper though. In the 6K range, you have Jaden Daniels. Tough matchup against the Browns, but he's done really well this season. He's played a lot better than people would have thought. Especially coming into this season, as most people would have assumed that Caleb would have had better stat lines, but Jaden Daniels has outperformed him. He's not really doing turnovers, only has 1 interception. And he's using his legs a lot. He's getting into the end zone, and his team only has like 1 punt the last 2 games, so they're doing a really good job on offensive side, moving the ball. He's probably not going to get too much ownership this week, just because they have some guys cheaper than him that are in better matchups. I'm taking Jordan Love at $6,500. I really like the stack this week of the Packers going into Los Angeles. They should put up points. Rams defense been terrible. Jordan Love's been threading the needle. 3 picks last week, but they were down big, and he just had to throw like a ton. So that led to him taking a little bit more risk in the second half, having some more interceptions. But he's still completing the ball at a high rate. 60% last week. Probably expect a little better, but overall in this matchup, I like him, especially since he's missing Watson and he's going to be missing Dobbs. It looks like, so it's easy to stack him with Jaden Reed, stack him with Kraft, stack him with the other receiver Wicks. Besides Jordan Love in the 6K range, you got Purdy if you want to take a shot on him. Joe Burrow at 64, stack him with T. Higgins or Chase. $5,000 range. Geno Smith in a good spot against the Giants. Andy Dalton if you want to take a shot on him again. I mean, he's been fine, productive. His team had some drops last week, otherwise would have had over 20 fantasy points again. And that's pretty much it at the quarterback position. Over at running back, we have a lot of guys out this week. Jonathan Taylor is out. They already priced, Sermon is not like super cheap at 57, but he should be getting majority of the work, although they did say it's going to be a committee. Joe Mixon is out, so it's been Akers, but he hasn't really done anything special, but you can go back to him if you wanted to at 55 against Buffalo. And then Devin Singletary is doubtful, so you're probably going to see Tracy get some work. He's only 43. He looks like a good value if you need to get down there. There are a lot of value at receiver, so I don't know if you need to go super cheap at running back unless you really want to. And then Zamir White is also out, so you're going to see Madison, even though the matchup isn't the best against Denver, but he's going to get most of the work. Right now, I'm going to be going to... I think Henry's a really good play at 78. Bengals defense has been porous on the ground. We saw Chuba go off against him last week. I think he's great. I mean, he already has 6 touchdowns in the season. If you want to go a little cheaper, you can go down to Jordan Mason. Also, is in a good spot. The Niners have a high total. Cardinals defense been bad as well, and they're giving him a ton of touches. Getting 20 plus touches every week. Most of those like 20 plus carries 3 out of the 4 weeks. He's getting a couple targets too, so he gives you end zone upside. I like his matchup, and 74 is a nice price tag. And then I'm looking at like Kenneth Walker at 68 against the Giants defense. I like. You have Josh Jacobs 64. He's probably due for a breakout week. Could be the week against the Rams' worst rush defense so far this season. You have Chuba Hubbard only 61. He's been getting most of the carries with Miles Sanders mixed in, but he's been playing awesome. He catches balls out of the backfield as well. He's going to get you probably 20 touches. I'm going to put him in 61 as a good value pick, especially when you have like Sermon and some other guys that are only a few hundred cheaper than Chuba Hubbard. I feel like I can trust Hubbard a little bit more than taking shots on like Madison or taking a shot on Sermon. Over at wide receiver, there's a ton of value here. If you want to pay up, it's Jamar Chase. I think Tank Dell's back, so it makes Collins look a little worse, but still is a good matchup against the Bills. It should be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go with Jaden Reed, stack him with Jordan Love at $5,700. Think he makes for a tremendous stack. 2 games that Jordan Love's played, he has over 30 fantasy points in both of them. And now Watson and Dobbs are going to be out, so you're going to see him get even more targets. Looks like they're both doubtful. And then another one that you got to like is Wicks. Double stack Jordan Love with his top 2 receivers for the week. Wicks 13 targets last week. I mean, Jordan Love did throw a ton, but you're going to see Wicks be on. Him and Reed be out there on all 2 wide receiver sets, lining up on the outside for most of the time, I would assume, unless they maybe put Wicks in the slot. But those 2 I really like at receiver. We have the Bills offense. They're going to be missing their number 1 receiver in Shakir, so you got Keon Coleman. He's going to be looking good as a value. There's a guy that has some big play, boomer bust upside at 47. Definitely take a shot there if you wanted to. But I'm going over to the New York side, Giants side, and I'm going to be taking Malik Neighbor. So you're going to see Wandale, who's already been getting a ton of targets. He's going to probably soak up even more targets. He has 12 plus in 2 out of the 4 games, 8 plus in 3 out of the 4, double-digit fantasy in 3 of the 4. Still looking for his. He's gotten to the end zone in week 2, but looking for another touchdown here the last couple weeks without getting into the end zone. Still had productive fantasy weeks, and the matchup here. We saw the Lions offense do really well against the Seahawks defense. Still a tough spot, but being the number 1 receiver, probably going to be looking at a lot of short, intermediate routes from Daniel Jones, PPR site like Draftkings. I think he can rack up the fantasy points quickly, so he's going to be another guy that I like. At tight end, I'm going to be looking at Dalton Kincaid at 53, especially without Shakir. I like his matchup and his spot this week, get more work. You have Cole Kmet, he's upside GPP play. You have Tucker Kraft, if you want to keep loading up on the Packers. He's going to get more targets this week, gives you some upside. So those are probably my 3 favorite tight ends for the week. And then defense, if you're going cheap, below 3,000, I think you got to like the Patriots. Miami's offense cannot looking good without Tua. Huntley struggled to move the ball last week against the Titans defense and the Patriots defense. They have a little bit more talent there. I think they're going to make life difficult for the Dolphins offense once again. Could take a shot on the Broncos as well, going up against the Raiders without Devontae Adams. So those are the 2 defenses that I really like this week. They're cheap, and they have a lot of upside. So those are my picks on DraftKings for the week. Love the Packers side. I like the value on the Giants side. I like the Bills value with that tight end and receiver. The running backs, you got a lot, so pay up for like Mason, Kyron Williams, or Derrick Henry if you want to, and then go with the semi-value for your second running back. But that's it for DraftKings. Take a look at FanDuel. For FanDuel, it's pretty similar picks. Just changed up the running backs a little bit. I got to Kyron Williams here at $8,400. I like the price tag on FanDuel. You have Mason is 87, Henry's 92, but I still got to him just because I have a little bit more salary on FanDuel. So I got to Derrick Henry at 92. I still like Mason if you want to play all 3 top running backs. You're probably going to have to go a little bit cheaper at quarterback or take out Jaden Reed, but like those 2 running backs. Value-wise, same types that I mentioned. Chuba at 68 looks good. Kenneth Walker at 74. And then you can go with some of the other value that we talked about. Like Sermon is down to 59. Madison 58. Tracy's probably super cheap too. He's 48, so he looks like a good value if you need it. Wide receiver, Jaden Reed, Wicks, Wandale, my 3 good value receivers this week. I like all of them. Good spots, good matchups, and going to be looking at increased volume with missing some of their teammates. Tight end, Kincaid and Kraft are my favorites here on FanDuel. And then defense, same deal. Patriots defense, I really like. They are $4,100. Broncos at $4,000. I like them as well. Those are my 2 main ones. And if you wanted to go further down here, maybe the Panthers, but don't know if you need to. So it's pretty much it for me, my DraftKings and FanDuel picks for this week. Best of luck if you are tailing, and I will see you all next time. Good luck this week.